This is the 15-minute section where we introduce the new features. Our feature for us today is going to be Dan Flowers. He's, when I did the introductions earlier, he's worn lots of hats here at Issuetrak, very strong technically. He's now he's the CEO. He's also our chief security visionary, if you will. He takes customer data to heart. So he does our compliance and the security audits, and he lives and breathes, sleeps that. He's also the most customer focused and centric person I've ever worked with. It's very refreshing from being on the technical side, or Dan growing up on the technical side, and his love for the customer, and what is the right answer with regards to the customer, Tony? I want your suggestion, and he never lets me down. So I'll turn this over to Dan, and I think he's got a couple of comments and remarks.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. I would be starting my video, but there's a slight technical difficulty that I think Paul and Tony will work out. And if we can get it started, we sure will. So I apologize, you can't see my smiling face today. Hopefully you'll be able to see it soon. And Tony, thank you for the wonderful introduction. Those are really kind words, and I appreciate it. They're working on making me a host now, so I'll be a little bit distracted as I make this webinar work for you guys. But again, my name's Dan Flowers, and it's really exciting to be here today. Many of the names I see on the attendee list are very familiar, and I recognize them. It likely means that I've worked with you on either support issues or other concerns you may have had, or you could have attended one of our user conferences and been wowed by my wonderful and definitely not boring security questions or security presentations. And as Tony mentioned, I joined Issuetrak as a TSA. That was back in 2012. Being a TSA allowed me to build a real good foundation of product knowledge and build real strong relationships with our customers, helping me understand their needs and most specifically, their pain points. I learned a great deal about what doesn't work as a TSA. Oh, and they're telling me I should be able to start video now, so let's see if that works. Hey, thank you guys. So after being a TSA, I became Issuetrak's lone IT administrator and did some wonderful things there. My career progressed to be Issuetrak's Director of Technical Operations, which allowed me to oversee our support operations, cloud services and cloud operations, technical writing teams, as well as continuing to run our growing IT operations. During this time, I led significant advancements to our cloud infrastructure, moving us to AWS, significantly improved some of our support operations, which hopefully many of you got to benefit from. Also improving our engagements with you guys and our supporting tools like our remote connectivity, while maintaining as Tony mentioned, a continued focus on security, amongst many other projects. In 2019, I became Issuetrak's VP of DevOps. This really provided me the honor to lead our wonderful development and QA teams. It also allowed me the opportunity to establish a real good relationship with our product ownership team. And it really has been an honor to be Issuetrak's VP of DevOps and help mold the product into what our customers need. And while all these positions have been amazing, I can say that they have established the foundation needed to help take on my new role at Issuetrak. Without all of these positions, I don't think I could be adding the value to you, our customers. Each one yielded more and more of customer needs, customer engagement, and customer time. And it's actually a big passion of mine. I really do enjoy working with our customers, as Tony mentioned, helping them solve problems and providing them solutions to complicated business problems or objectives. And I really like to keep that going forward as I learn to assist our customers as Issuetrak's CEO. help your operations improve and help you determine the best flow of work for your departments or your company and using Issuetrak. But I really don't want to spend too much more time talking about me. If you're interested in engaging me, you can find me on LinkedIn or email me directly at Issuetrak. But I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about our product. And some of you may have noticed as of the recent few months, we've been working really hard to ramp up the delivery of critically needed and often requested features. These features that we've been delivering recently have been direct responses to customer needs and pains, as well as helping to advance security, user interface, and many other areas. And we do a lot to ensure the transparency of what we're doing at Issuetrak. And I'm proud to say that the tripling of, I guess it's almost tripling of our release cadence and feature releases has yielded more direction and more customer need solving than we've ever seen in the past few years. But with that advancements comes a need to provide transparency to you, our customers, as to what to expect moving forward. It gives you an idea of what's getting our attention and what features you might want to expect to see in the product, as well as how well your requests for future enhancement are being listened to. We want to listen to our customers. We want to be transparent about what's coming. We want to solve your problems. We've recently published this product roadmap that you see here. Thanks for bringing it up, Paul. I wanted to spend a few minutes kind of talking about what we're doing here. Now, this is a rolling 3 months. And what that means is at the middle of April, you'll see this expand to the next 3 months. We'll wait till about end of April to push it beyond this. So in April, with what we're going to be considering 11.13, you'll see improved session handling, improved searching, some security enhancements, both because of Microsoft patching requirements, as well as our own security initiatives to further advance it. And then you'll see later in the month, other responses to customer requests, fixing some issues we've seen with password changing within the product or using the forgot password functionality. We had customers ask for more data and more usable columns within our My Issues feature. So we've started with the most often requested one, which is adding location. We're improving how keywords with the IAM, the incoming email module, how you can filter, so not just exact matches, but contains as well. And a really often requested feature is automation of assignment through round robin. That's something we expect to deliver at the end of this month or beginning of next. And the ability to inactivate and activate IAM mailboxes without having to edit. So being able to quickly toggle mailboxes and other areas in the product directly from the list views. Beyond that, far bigger scopes, we want to significantly improve how you use attachments, thinking private attachments, more functionality, drag and drop, more visibility to those attachments, a closer association of attachments with the issue they came in or the note they came in on. We want to provide you more user searching enhancements, searching entities throughout the entirety of the product. We also want to help you understand, for troubleshooting or for your own utilization, the vectors in which your issues are entered into the product. Did they come from the API, from our incoming email? Were they directly entered? There's many different ways content gets into your Issuetrak sites, and we want to make that visible to you. And the list continues. Easier access to our support teams, identity management through Active Directory federated services to more tightly align our cloud customers and our premise customers with the ongoings of Azure AD as a service or AWS AD as a service solutions with increased security, more UI, and more API enhancements to significantly expand what the API can do for you, as well as allow us to provide you with more targeted integrations within the product. More to come on those in the future, what we might be able to integrate Issuetrak with very soon. I'm very tempted to mention those things, but I'm going to hold off for right now. Maybe a future webinar, we'll spend some time talking about what we hope to be able to allow you to integrate with. But with the product's direction and where we're going, we also want to make sure you have all the information necessary to know when we're releasing. As I mentioned before, we're releasing far more quickly, far more frequently. with a lot of new content and a lot of changes. Sometimes they're big, sometimes they're small. We want to make sure you know about all of those changes. So first, I'd like to mention our release notes. So this is in our help center. We update our release notes with every release. And we have a lot of vectors and a lot of ways in which we inform our customers of releases. But it may not hit everyone in your company who is interested in knowing about what's changing within our product. If you'll notice at the top of this browser window, there's a subscribe button. So for those of you who wish to always be aware, regardless of our other campaigns to notify you about releases, you can subscribe, or any of your employees can subscribe to release announcements. When we update this page, a notification will go out with a link letting you know that, hey, we have an upcoming release. These release notes have a lot of information, but we're always interested in improving. If you have any comments or feedback about how we conduct our release notes or how we deliver this information to you, we'd be open to hearing about it and how we can improve that. Secondary to our release notes, we do keep a rolling update of our product documentation available to our customers. Many of you could be on older versions of our product, and you really want to know critically what will change from what version you're coming from to where you're going. That is contained here within our product documentation article. You can dive as deep as you'd like by expanding the specific release from where you are to where you're going to go to, and understand what's going to change in the impact. I mean, these are the top level releases, so that means they're feature based. The roll-ups each also contain any subsequent patch releases, which is represented by the third number in our numbering scheme. So this is some rich information for you to understand what changes to expect in the product if you're upgrading from an older version than our current releases. This kind of transparency and visibility is pretty critical to me. I want to make sure we're engaging you guys frequently, listening to your needs, and also providing you with the information as timely and as accurately as we can. This is something that I hold dear, working deeply with our customers and solving their problems. And I really do hope to continue to engage you all frequently as Issuetrak's new CEO and as I grow and evolve as well. Thank you for taking the time to let me have my first webinar as Issuetrak's CEO and being so welcoming. Tony and Paul have done a really wonderful job here. They have the harder jobs, obviously. We can open it up now to any questions. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have as me as the CEO or the product's direction or Issuetrak's direction, as well as any questions or comments you might have on the webinar content that Tony and Paul has delivered. Thank you, everyone.
Well, I think a first place to go, let's go to where we collect most of our user requests, our customer requests, and that would be the user voice. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with our user voice site. I'm going to take us there here, and it's and where is my user voice site? It's under user voice.
Issuetrak.uservoice.
Uservoice.com, right? It would make sense, right? And I believe there's also a link on our website, right? So the user voice, notice there was no login required to view the user voice. And you can see what other people have asked for or request what you want. And the whole thing works on a system of upvotes, right? Where you say, well, I'd like to see that too. And all you have to do is vote. Now, if you want to get updates about something and see as we turn that from a request into a feature, you can create a login and get email updates when we say, hey, we're going to add this. Or there's an update, somebody added a note. What really helps Dan, that guy there, Dan, decide whether to add a feature or not is when we add notes, give context to your vote, right? So it really helps us know what's going on when you add a note and say, hey, I want this feature because it will help me do this, or I need this feature because it solves this problem. So that's what really helps us along there. So vote and comment, please, when you have the chance.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, user voice is a wonderful tool. One of the things I hope to do as CEO is really improve our user voice implementation to help you guys provide us with, relevant information to help us make great decisions on what you'd like to see. It is a form for you as customers to rally around the most needed, most critically requested, or most important functions or features within Issuetrak, things that are most painful for you. I encourage you to search through it and see if there's any ideas that you've had before and upvote them so that they get more visibility, or add to the ever expanding list of requests for features. We hope we will be improving our user voice and enhancing how we interact with our customers through it, providing more feedback and more information. But it is a really wonderful tool that we use, but it is not the only tool. You can always feel free to reach out to your account managers or our sales team or our support team for that matter, uh, to really express your needs so that we can do our best as your vendor to solve that need. It's really important to us that with every interaction you have with Issuetrak staff and employees, that it is the best engagement you've ever had of any vendor. We strive for that every single day. It is a message that we deliver to every single employee constantly. And we wish to continue that and that kind of level of experience, not only with our staff, but with our product.
Hey, Dan, sorry for interrupting. I got a question that came in, and I don't know if you've got visibility on it. Can I read the question?
Absolutely.
And you can give us your thoughts
Ah,
on it.
I see the QAA section now. Go
Okay.
ahead.
We have recently, I'm just reading this verbatim, we have recently moved to Office 365 E3. We are beginning to leverage Power Automate, formerly Flow, and have seen the potential of the platform to integrate third-party apps and services into our workflow. Any thoughts on where Issuetrak might fit inside that world?
Oh, there are so many opportunities. And it can get complicated because it does boil down to your infrastructure and your utilization, as well as the how tightly you wish to integrate. I still call it flow, but how tightly you wish to integrate Issuetrak in your business operations to flow. In the interest of time and not having enough information to target your specific need, which can send me down this really long-winded trail of how you could use it in this specific need, we can go offline, the two of us, and talk about those features and functions, or we can get a support ticket open so I can call you. And we can talk about how you could take advantage of what Flow can offer with Issuetrak. With improvements to the API and other areas, we are deeply concerned about how customers can integrate their existing tools with and the tools that vendors like AWS and Azure make available, how our product fits in those environments and in your environments for our premise customers. And that is a big focus of the things we'll be doing for the remainder of the year, is how to help you integrate Issuetrak into all of those places that you're already improving to make it as painless as possible. Don't want to make it more painful. Make it as painless as possible to continue to use Issuetrak and expand it to help your business.
Thank you, Dan. Good answer. Has anybody
And
else got questions?
any last questions with you were taking the opportunity with Dan Flowers while he's on the call? Chime in. It was nice of Dan to free up his schedule and join us. So, I'm sure you've already engaged over the years, probably 80 or 90% of the people on the call. But it was nice just in your new role and guiding the Issuetrak ship, joining the call, the webinar for us. I'm not seeing any other questions come in. Dan, we appreciate your time. We'll let you get back to your schedule, and Paul and I will do a wrap up and maybe a teaser on next month's topic.
All right, thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your week and enjoy your Easter.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
So this was our first one working remote. Most of the kids and dogs were behaving themselves. We appreciate you attending these. We identified the need. Just so many of our customers are, just the normal turnover and all that. So we appreciate your time. Paul, do you got comments, and do you know what next month's topic is? I know it's road mapped out. I don't always have visibility on it. So
You know what? Mike has selected a topic, I believe, already. I don't know for sure that he has, but I believe he selected it already. We have not had time to plan content for next month. I have not been involved yet. I've been busy getting ready for this month. And also, don't forget, we wanted to do a quick demo of web forms too while we were here.
oh yeah, well, I'll talk while you get that queued up, okay?
All right.
And that was from Julie, so thank you. Thanks for reminding me, Paul. So I was the brainchild for these system admin webinars, and then I went to Mike, and he just fully embraced this, and obviously, or no surprise, we use Issuetrak internally for a lot of our business operations, and he did the whole year's worth of schedule inside Issuetrak, and it was just more of a project management application. He opened a ticket for each month, and we have all the tasks assigned with due dates. So we know when we have to have the emails available. So the marketing people are assigned task and deliverable dates to have all the different pieces of marketing content ready to be dropped and have those go out. When Mike needs to have content, when Mike and Paul do their practice sessions. So it's really just a different usage for Issuetrak, something that I hadn't seen before, but it worked really well. Bringing the point up to you all, you've made your investment. So any time you want to leverage it for new stuff, it's not a cost issue. So I'm done with that commercial. It looks like Paul's brought up a web form and a Issuetrak site. So
All right. Now this is the one we talked about last week, Tony. Our dev team did a really good job. This is a what we call the standard web form, and it's a brand new product from Issuetrak. Currently, when you ask us to build a web form for you, we build a web form that uses an API call to create an issue. Well, this does that. This does an API call to create an issue. However, this web form is very limited in scope. As you can see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fields. That's it. And so this is a little more of a simple, very simplified version of creating an issue in Issuetrak. And no login required. You guys didn't see me. You guys watched me pull this up, right? I'm showing my screen, right? So you guys didn't see me put in a password, right, to get to this.
and we deliver this as an iframe or
Right.
as
Exactly. It can be embedded. Oh, yeah, certainly. No, please jump in. Yeah. This can be included as an iframe, can be embedded as an iframe somewhere where you need it. You want to put this out on a website and not make it its own page. So I just want to be clear that this is the simple version, and this comes in at a kind of a standard cost. There's some standard things going on here, like we're limited in the number of fields. However, we can also do these really complex and highly customized web forms as well. It's just we price them a little bit differently, right? Of course, it's going to cost us more to build something really complex like this, where you've got multiple pages and you've got logic based on clicking yes or no built into the web form. So it's a little bit of a different product for us to provide.
Hey, can you go back to the simple one and talk us through what's happening? So when a prospect, customer, employee, somebody engages this, obviously they're filling in the form, but then give us the narrative of what's happening behind the scene and then what happens in Issuetrak.
Okay, so obviously, as you can see, it's a web form just like all the other ones we use every day. The difference here, this is an Issuetrak web form, so it creates an issue in an Issuetrak site. Now, I said, it uses this thing called an API call. So that information is sent in, that is encrypted and sent securely across the internet as an API call. It doesn't turn into an email anywhere. This doesn't turn into text until it gets into the website, period. So it's a very secure way, very easy to create issues this way. No, there's no leakage of data here. It's all controlled by your login to Issuetrak. So.
Okay, so Paul's filling this in. So what we're doing is just capturing the minimum amount of information. So
Right.
we're going to get the name, the email address, phone number. So what we're going to do is and shut me up if you want to take it back over again, Paul.
No.
What's going to happen is the information that's presented in this web form will be sent into Issuetrak. So the name of the person and the phone number and the email. It's going to say, hey, I have this new request that came in via this web form. Does this user exist already in my Issuetrak site? So if you're doing this for employees, yeah, most likely they're already going to exist. So they'll just become the submitter of this ticket that was created in Issuetrak. Let's take the scenario. This is a public facing. So you're supporting John Q. Public. Highly unlikely that they already exist. So the API is going to create the user, drop them into an organization. They're going to be the submitter of the ticket. And that all happens automatically.
Now, Tony, I'm going to warn you, you may have to do the rest of the talking because I warned you about my audio mode.
Yeah.
My headset is beeping, so I'm running out of battery juice. So you may have to do the rest of the talking here, but I'll take it as far as I can here. So you can see this created as me because I used my email address. It's going to send me the email notifications because an issue was created, and I'll show you that when I get them in a minute or two when I get those email notifications.
Right. This ticket is going to inherit your system email notifications. So if you're going to send an email to the submitter when an issue was created, they're going to get one here.
Let me see if I can cut off the rest of my the stuff that you guys probably shouldn't see and see if I can do a pop-up window with that email in it. Here we go. And you can see I got to put some nice wording in there, and well, if it ever loads, there we go. Latency on my side rather than there we go. And you can see, thank you for reaching out to us. The following issue was submitted and was assigned. In this case, it got assigned to Tony. That's kind of one of the things we talked about with this one. That's kind of flexible in these standard web forms. We can code that to do whatever it needs to do. And then you've got an issue description, so you can see what you just typed. Remind you about, if you've submitted 10 of these things, remind you about which one you're getting an email about. And then you've got, included in that is the first name, last name, all of that stuff, and the issue details.
Hey, Paul, can you go back to the web form, the
Sure.
simple web form? And we're wrapping this up. We appreciate everybody's time here. So the web form can be as simple or as complex as you want. Where it says problem type, hit the drop down, and the text is all yours. So you could put any text you want. So you don't have to call them problem types, but they're going to mirror a set or subset of your issue types in your Issuetrak. So if you go, it's a technology issue, and this website or this web form was just stood up earlier this week in response to, there's my dogs, in response to COVID and all the school systems. Now they're all doing the remote learning, and we just offered this out as a solution that we can stand up in 24 hours for them. So the problem types are going to correspond to those issue types in your Issuetrak site. You don't have to use them all, but they're going to match. So then when the API pushes this data, creates the ticket, you got an issue type, and any automation within Issuetrak would still be applicable to the issue. So that's how the web form works. Julie, if you got any questions on that, we can follow up offline. I do need to research some of that other stuff for you. All heck is breaking loose in my household here, so I apologize. Thanks everybody for your time. Paul, you got any comments if you still got battery?
No, I I do not have any comments. I just want to thank everybody for attending, and we look forward to talking to everybody next month.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. Be safe out there, and call or email us if we can be of any assistance. Thank you.